साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुर्साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः।
Students and the would-be teachers and the teachers who are here, good afternoon to all of you. Teachers' Day is celebrated in honor of Dr. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan. It's a day to acknowledge, to recognize, to pay tribute to teachers for their contribution to the growth and development of the nation. Because when you develop, when you train a particular student, train the students in the art of living, in the art of learning, in the art of absorbing that knowledge, I think you're training a complete citizen. That is very, very important. And if a teacher is doing that, I think it's important to acknowledge that. Now, having said that, I must congratulate the students for putting up this function for the teachers. The way you honor your teachers is, I think I would congratulate each and every one of you here because that says it all. Because that's the culture of India. Somebody spoke about the difference between teacher and a guru. I think guru is a complete, a holistic teacher, I would say, because a guru sort of not just shapes the knowledge quotient in an individual, but shapes the character. So that is very important. And I think it was Sir Martin Luther King who said that intelligence and learning makes for education. So to define education, you need learning as well as intelligence. Perhaps I would go a little further than that. And I would say that intelligence plus character plus learning would all tantamount to knowledge. Because knowledge is greater than learning. I think that is what is important, and that is the role of the teacher. As teachers, we need to be here. This function is an acknowledgement of the teaching that you have imparted or would be imparting. And if we are not here to recognize what the students seem to be paying accolades to or tributes to, I think we are belittling our children, our students. And I would not want any teacher to ever do that. Because a complete student is he whom the teacher recognizes as well. It's not to pick. Somebody said pick the rare minds and then polish them. No, pick each and every student. Every student has the potential to be that gem, that rare gem. It's up to the teacher to do that. You have to bring that awareness in the student. One can do that only if a teacher is complete. So Teachers' Day for me is a calling for the teachers to recognize and to pause, to posit as to what is our role in a society today where terror seems to be ruling, where violence is rampant, where hatred is rampant, where we are ruled by fear. Somebody quoted Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He said the sign of true knowledge is courage. If you have the courage, you must move forward. I think it's very important to be courageous in your conviction, in your belief, in your thinking. If there is clarity in the thinking, the courage would also be enhanced. So I think that's something that a teacher needs to give. So as a teacher, because I think of myself primarily as a teacher, what is it that one needs to do? I think in Sanskrit, when we talk about the paribhasha of guru or of learning, what does a guru impart? Who is a guru? It's important to think about it for a moment. It is Gyan, Dhyan, Dhairya, karma. 4 things that make a guru, make a complete teacher. Gyan is learning with character. If you are able to impart, see, these days it's very important, at a click of a mouse we have all the information. As teachers, that is not our job. Information is available. We are replete with it. In fact, there's too much of information. What we need to do is how wisely, with sagacity, you are able to tone and hone that information into learning. That is where the wisdom lies. So it's important that learning is translated into knowledge. So Gyan is a complete word. It's not just learning, because there is character there. There is shaping a mind, shaping a persona or a personality is there. You have Dhyan. Dhyan is focus, not just concentration. Focus. We talk about Rishi Munis sitting for years together. Today if we ask anyone to sit for 5 minutes quietly, very difficult. Your focus seems to be shifting. Your concentration is constantly hampered by thoughts. That comes with discipline. So disciplining the mind is Dhyan. When you discipline the mind, it's easier to absorb the knowledge. So you have to look at it in a holistic fashion. And I would look at it in today's terms. How would I look at it? What does that mean to me? It means that I am undistracted by any kind of, be it violence, be it unsocial elements, be it terror. If you have a focus, pursue the focus. It's so important to not to waver in your thinking, because thinking has to be modeled. It has to be modeled as per the knowledge that you would like to see around. Because when learning happens completely, then that is where knowledge is. And if the knowledge is there, you cannot suppress the knowledge. You unwittingly, you are in a position to spread that knowledge, whether you open your mouth or not, whether you speak to anybody or not. Knowledge resonates, it illuminates, it's there for everybody to recognize. So you have Gyan, Dhyan, Dhairya. Now Dhairya is not just patience, it's perseverance as well. How you are able to look at life from a perspective. Take learning, look at this missile man, how he has moved forward. Maybe that is Dhairya, because one was able to move forward without trying to find shortcuts in the knowledge route. Today we always look for shortcuts, I find, and that breaks my heart. I always say this, you look for shortcuts cut short your life, your thinking. Don't ever do that. Robert Frost's poem, what is that poem? Do you remember? The road not taken. So the road not taken is always the road to take, I would say. You need courage for that. So dhairya is important. And then of course, the karma. Karma is the hard diligence plus dedication is karma. Hard work, there should not be any respite from hard work. Somebody said intense hard work is rest, and I believe in that. Many people come up to me and say, are you not tired? I'm not tired. I'm raring to go anytime. Because I think hard work, diligence gives you that extra energy to move forward. I think these are the 4 characteristics of a good guru. There are always diverse ways of thinking. Never give up. What happens with us is, I generally think this, a little knowledge makes people egoistical. And we find far too many egoistical people around. What happens then is, your vision becomes a tunnel vision. You're looking at it from a very narrow scope of the world. the more you learn to look at it from different perspectives. And every perspective probably has a relevance. It may not be relevant at that given point of time as per the situation, but probably it is there. So let's think about it in that fashion. And then somebody, I'm so glad the teacher here, what's your name, my dear? Wonderful. I liked what you said about APJ Abdul Kalam. He said, if you want beautiful minds, if you want a corrupt-free society, there are two people who influence: the parents, the teacher. You know, as parents, what are we at home? What are we giving our children? Are we nurturing them on love, on devotion, on dedication, on learning, on purity, on courage? They're going to grow up that way. If we are teaching them as parents to find shortcuts, to find corrupt ways of acquiring things, I think we are harming their growth. Very, very important. So as parents, both mother and father, and the teachers play a very, very important role. Because as teachers, we are able to inspire not just one class, but generations of students. Just imagine the kind of impact that we have on the young minds. You know, Steinbeck said, the American writer, he said that the teacher is not merely a teacher, he is the greatest of the artists. Because he is shaping a young mind, the moral being. He also used the word moral being. You know, in days where ethics plays no role, I think it's important that we take another look at morals. It does play a role. You know, it's important as a good human being, what are the characteristics that you must have? Think about 5 characteristics and try to adopt. Hold them on as your principles and never waver. And see how it makes a difference to your life. So as teachers, if we can, affect generations of students, what does that mean? That means there's a huge responsibility on teachers. Let us not turn away from that responsibility. Let us not trivialize that responsibility. Let's not take it lying down. There's a huge responsibility and we need to work on it. We need to constantly work on it. You know, populist mechanism is not going to take anybody anywhere. It's very easy to be popular. Not necessary, I would say. That should not be the mandate. The mandate is to be right, whether anybody likes you or not. And over a period of time, you will realize that people will come to respect that. That's what Dr. Ambedkar said. Whether your enemies also recognize or not, there will come a day when they will also respect you for your conviction and what you held on as your own. I think as teachers, we have many, many things to pass on to the generations of students. And I think when we enter the classroom, the first thing that we walk in with is energy. And then comes the learning. I think if the energy is not right, if that is not positive, no amount of teaching is going to work. So I think it's very important that you walk in with a lot of optimism, with a lot of positivity, and you make a difference just by being positive. That's very important. So I think for all the teachers who are here, because you're going to be teachers, and when you get selected as teachers, be it in schools or colleges or universities, remember you're going to be there for next 30, 35 years. You know, or 40 years probably. If you're young, you will continue to be there. Because I've seen many of us who say we've been teaching for 40 years. I hope we've made a difference, I would say. You know. So you're going to be there for that many years. Imagine the kind of nation you're going to build. I always say nation building is an ongoing process. Culture building is an ongoing process. It's up to us to do that. So it's up to you to do that. So how you mold yourself is important, and what you give to others is more important. So congratulations to students again for thinking about Teachers' Day and putting up this small show. My appreciation to all of you here. My teachers, I would say, wonderful. If our students are able to appreciate us, then we must be doing something right. But don't get carried away, word of caution there. Because that's not the end, that's only the beginning. You have to do that every day, to every student, to generations of students. Make a difference, I would say, into their lives. And all my non-teaching and every one of us is a teacher in life. You know, one of the most positive things that I find in life is that if we are willing to learn, we learn from anyone. And I think we should be willing to learn. So end of the day, all of us are students looking for great teachers. So it is within us to be great teachers. Try to mold yourself and be a student and a teacher at the same time, I would say. Thank you.